everyone, Danica here. I am on a field trip with God. I am currently waiting at the light to turn left onto Getty Center Drive. I am heading to the Getty to practice Visio Divina, or sacred seeing, or another way of saying it is prayerful gazing. If you missed my previous video where I discuss what that is, please go check it out, because today it's going to be put into practice at the Getty. I have parked the car, passed through security, and I am now doing something that I have never done before when I've been to the Getty, and that is I'm actually walking from the base of the mountain or the base of the hill up to the Getty. Now normally you take a tram, you can get on a tram to take you up, but I thought, this is an adventure. It's about a 20-minute walk from the base to the top. And I thought while I was doing that, I could just share that the Getty Museum was designed by the architect Richard Meyer, who actually at the time was a New York-based architect, and he won the bid to design the Getty, and he designed it so that it would be both a place of nature and of culture. And he did a fabulous job. It's one of my favorite places in Los Angeles. I made it to the destination. I am here at the Getty. As I proceed, some of you might be wondering, well, okay, so you're at the museum. What exactly are you going to do at the museum? What's the process? Well, that's what I would be thinking if I was you. Or if I were you, whatever the proper grammar is. So here's what I plan on doing. I'm seeing this entire day as a spiritual adventure with God. And I am picturing myself going through each of the galleries arm in arm with Jesus. And as I walk through the galleries and I'm arm in arm with Jesus, I am paying attention both to the art on the wall, the sculpture, as well as what is going on inside me. And I am going to try and pay attention to notice, one might say, where God is making a bid for my attention. Through what art is he trying to get my attention? And so that requires that dual awareness, the external awareness of what's happening around me, but then also that internal awareness of where God might be speaking to me or what God might be speaking to me about. So that is what the process is going to be. And I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea what art is going to move me. I have no idea where my attention is going to be grabbed. I have no idea what artwork is going to make me want to engage in prayerful gazing, or Visio Divina. So that is why today is an adventure. And I am just looking forward to whatever God might be doing here, what he might be doing in me and for me. But here's something I do know. I do know that God is present in all things. And that's the thing that I love about coming to a place like the Getty, which is technically a secular institution, and knowing that God is already at work here, that God can work in all things and through all things to get my attention and to connect with me and with you. And so it's this lovely way of seeing the world, that God is always at work all around you, no matter where you are. And so join me as I adventure into the gallery spaces to see what God might have for me. Are you ready to link arms with Jesus and join me? I hope so. Well, here we go. I decided to go talk to the info desk, and a lovely lady there recommended that I start my adventure here at the Special Exhibitions Pavilion, where there's a fashion photographer on display. So I am going to start there, and when I am done, I will check back in and let you know how it went. In the meantime, this is the rotunda, where there's this beautiful installation hanging from the ceiling. I just walked through an exhibit called The Walker Wonderful Things here at the Getty, and now I am having a chai tea latte and a Napoleon. And I just wanted to share that I was not expecting anything to happen in this particular exhibit. It's a fashion photographer named Tim Walker. However, there was one room full of photographs that you'll notice that just by looking at them, there's nothing, it's not obvious. It's not obvious that there would be anything there. And yet something grabbed me. God got my attention. And so I am sitting out here with my chai tea latte, and I am going to talk with God about what it was that caught my heart so fiercely that I wanted to cry in this exhibit, which is very unusual for me. So I'll let you know what comes up for me as I talk with God about why that was. And so we'll see what the rest of the exhibits have for me. I was not expecting this one, so God is already at work surprising me. And I am now actually walking back down the hill to where my car is. I've spent about 5 hours here today. It's been fabulous, and I have lots to share about my field trip with God, my spiritual adventure with Jesus. What I realized when I was pondering what God was up to today, one of the things I realized is that no matter where we go, and this is going to be so self-evident, no matter where we go, we're bringing our whole selves. And by that, I mean we are bringing any questions that have been pinging around in our head. We're bringing desires, and we're bringing longings. We're bringing issues that we've been mulling over through the days or weeks prior to our coming to this event. And that's true for me as well. If you're open to God, if you are paying attention to how God could be moving, He will speak to you through whatever is there for those things that are on your heart. And I noticed that today. So obviously there was the first exhibit, the photography exhibit, where I was moved to tears, and it did not seem to connect with the subject matter of the photographs. But I have spent some time talking to God about that. I'm now in my car, and I just wanted to share some of the things that I think God was doing while I was there. So as I was saying, at first when I went in that first exhibit, the Tim Walker exhibit, I didn't really know why I was having such a visceral response to the photo exhibit. And this particular shoot was of Tilda Swinton dressed up as her distant relative, Dame Edith Sitwell, on the Sitwell home property. And as I was thinking about it and asking God, why was I so moved by that? One of the things that came to mind is the idea that when we are open to the movement of God, when we are open to God using whatever means are available to get a bid for our attention, such that when He does attempt to get our attention, we slow down and we notice. One of the things that I realized as I was looking at those photos is that in Him drawing my attention to it, it was as if God was saying, see, Danica, I know you. I know you. I see you, I know you, and I know what you love. I know what things you think are funny. I know what things you think are moving. And what was interesting is these photos sort of encapsulated a few of those things. There was history, there was family connection, there was the beauty of the photographs. There was so much going on in the art, and He was right. It just brought together so many different parts of myself. And so it was God drawing me to it to say, see, I see you. And then here's the thing that I thought was interesting, is as I've been pondering this on the drive home, which was an hour in traffic, thank you, LA, is that later when I went through other exhibits, I went through a wonderful, why can't I speak, a photographic exhibit of, I think his name is Dawoud Bey, and then with Carrie Mae Weems. Beautiful photography, loved it. And then after that, I went into the old paintings, where there's Impressionists and there's paintings from the 1700s, 1800s, etc. And some of my favorites are in there. But they were having a new exhibit that was on some Danish painters. And there were a couple of those paintings that also made me stop in my tracks and look more closely. And then with the photography exhibit, especially with Carrie Mae Weems, the work that she did, there was a theme developing in the ones that I felt drawn to, because I had gone in and saying to the Lord, direct my gaze. Show me what you want me to look at. And so while there is wonderful art all around, there were certain pieces that definitely captured my imagination, captured my attention, and made me want to look more closely. And the theme that I saw developing as I thought about the specific photographs and paintings that I was drawn to this day was the theme of family, and the power of creativity and story. And then in the midst of that too was the idea of rest and simplicity. And those are two areas that I have been thinking a lot about. And so as God was drawing my attention to these various artworks, it was as if he was just reminding me that he sees me in the midst of these questions that I have, in the midst of the wrestling that I'm doing over these topics. And it just reminded me that God was using the thing at his disposal, the artwork, to show me again that he sees me and he sees what I'm wrestling with. And it was as if he was showing me some answers. He was giving me confirmations to the things I had been thinking about, saying, yes, the things that you want to do, the projects you're working on, they do matter. They are important. They're not the little things, so to speak. And though while they might be small, they have big import, one might say. And so it was just a lovely experience to have God confirming for me that the projects that I want to work on matter. And the things that I am spending my time doing and the where I am putting my energy, like in my family right now with homeschooling, all of that matters. And it's enough. And so I just have to say, it was such a lovely day of walking with the Lord through all these art galleries and allowing him to draw my gaze and just feeling so seen and loved by God that he gets me. He gets me. And that's such a wonderful feeling. And so I hope that this adventure, this spiritual adventure, this playful field trip with God inspires you to check out some artwork. Go to a gallery, go to a museum, and link yourself with Jesus and see what he wants to do with you in that space. At the end, I went to the gift shop and I looked through all of their postcards. And in looking through the postcards, anything that grabbed my attention, I decided to buy. And what I'm going to do with those postcards is I'm going to add them to my postcard collection of artwork. And when I'm feeling sort of dry in my prayer life and in my in trying to connect with God, I'm going to go through those postcards to see if there's anything that God wants to use to speak to me about something, to expose some part of my soul. And so I'm just going to tuck them away for now. And then when I feel the time is right, I'll pull all of my art cards out and just start looking at them until I see something that draws my eye. And then I'll pray through that card with the Holy Spirit. So this has been Danica Childs with the Audacious Adventure. Thanks for joining me.